Good evening, good evening, everyone. I hope you're all doing well this fine Sunday evening. So this evening, I'd like us to get a look at the setups that we had for the previous week, and also what we are anticipating for into the coming week, as from tomorrow, that is on Monday. So right here, I do have the Discord where I share my insights and setups, where I am looking out for potential opportunities, for potential trading opportunities. So right here, I'm going to start off with GBP USD. So this is what you have on GBP USD. I'd share the analysis on both Discord and also on the public blog, which is right here. And to be able to have access to the blog, it's chasecapitalke.blogspot.com. You can see you have a very new, fresh look right here. So this is for the public view, so you can be able to easily go check it out and see. Currently have about 229 posts on this, about 230 posts on the blog, where I'll be sharing various insights and analysis on different currency pairs, commodities, indices, and things like that. So starting off, I'm going to start off with GBP USD. As you can see, what we have currently here. So as the week started, we had quite a bit of consolidation within this area, within this supply area here. However, this rejection that we saw, this is a very strong rejection week showing selling pressure that came tapped into this structure that you have. Then after the consolidation, you saw a very strong. We had all these reactions here. We had rejection week. I mean, we had rejection weeks with candle close inside the zone. Then a very strong bearish engulfing candle on the 4-hour time frame with a candle close below the level. Then we had a retest of supply before now continuation of the drop lower. So this is what you've been anticipating for. Currently, I'm still holding this position since Tuesday. So I'm getting into the new week with positions from last week on Tuesday. So it'll be about 6 days in holding this. So currently markets are closed. So you can see price closed we closed the trading week at about 1.34905. And I am expecting to see price come all the way to these targets of 1.34, 340 areas, which is this demand area down here based off the 4-hour and the daily time frame. Considering this being the origin of this whole rally all the way to these supply areas here. So for this range to be filled, I'm expecting to see price come back to this before we either see a potential reversal or a continuation of the drop lower. So currently we are about 120 pips deep into this setup. And as the market opens tomorrow, let's observe and see. So this is about 120 pips on this. And still holding this to the anticipated target. So this is on GBP. This is on GBP USD. As you can see, the kind of structures that we are having here. Then let's have a look at Euro USD as well. So this is Euro USD. Euro USD has been quite slow for the whole week. This is the only move that we've been looking out for. I mean, this is the only move that price has made for the whole week. But what I am looking out for is a scenario whereby you have something like this, maybe a slight push to the upside before a slight push to the upside. Now that you have a candle close below this, we might have a slight push to the upside. The first reaction was within these highs. You have this high here and this high here. So the next thing I'll be looking out for, either one, retracement to these highs before you see now potential push to the downside, or two, something like this, where price reacts from this structure and you see a push to the downside. So for Euro USD as well, I'm anticipating a potential drop to the downside. And considering I'm looking at price coming back to these areas of interest, so we have this key demand area down here. Well, the first area of interest would be within this structure, because there's structure here. There's this structure within this area. So that is the levels of 1.16 thousand areas. But if we see price break below that, then the next area of interest we are looking at price coming to is the levels of 1.14500. So let's just observe and see how price reacts to that. But looking at it from a range perspective, this is the start of this range all the way to these highs. Then we see price break below. So what you're looking out for is price pushing all the way back to these levels down here. So Again, that is more of a swing position. This is more of a swing trade, and you realize we're looking at this from the 4-hour time frame. So considering you're looking at this from the 4-hour time frame, so this is more of a swing. This is more of a swing position. So if you are looking at if you are looking at trading this within the coming week, know that you are approaching this from a swing perspective. But then again, I mean, my bias is from a swing perspective. But then again, you can have intraday targets to suit your trading style best. Okay. Then we can have a look at the dollar index. Let's have a look at the dollar index and see what you're expecting. Uh, yeah, you've had quite a bullish dollar. And we had quite a bullish dollar. And what I'm expecting to see is price keeps pushing higher. I'm expecting to see price pushing higher into these levels of this supply area here, the levels of 97,700 areas. Reason being because when this was a previous demand, we had now the breakout, retest, and price pushing all the way down to these levels down here. So now our working range becomes price coming back to these levels of 97,700. So if now we see price coming into these areas here, and then now we'll look out for potential bearish push. Price can either act from here or even come into these areas here of 98.630 or even to these highs here, almost 99 areas. So let's observe and see. But generally, the bias of the dollar is bullish, as you can see what you have here. So let's see, once price gets to this area here, this zone will be the determinant. This zone will be the determinant of what we expect. If we will see a reversal here, then we'll expect a potential shift in bias. If we see a continuation and a push deeper into this level, then definitely we will see a stronger dollar. Okay. Then we can have a look at USD CHF. I measure my focus on dollar pairs. So USD CHF. Let's see what we have there. So this has been USD CHF. So here, from what you can see here, we have this. So price got to this key demand area down here. We had a nice push to the upside, a retest, push to the upside again. I don't know why this is. We had a push to the upside again. Uh, with a push to the upside, then a retest back to this demand. Then now price pushed again to the upside. So what I'm expecting to see is uh price push all the way to these levels up here. Okay, these areas up here. Considering this, we have this range. So I'm expecting to see price fill this range back to this area. So I'm looking at price coming to the levels of 0.80 for 50 areas, back to these within these highs, or even for 70 areas inside this level here. Considering we closed the week at about 0.79656. So let's observe and see how price reacts. Let's observe and see how price reacts to this. Until the only time you can have a confirmation is after you've seen price break above this, and above these highs, because these are equal highs. However, this demand has held, so I'll be expecting to see more bullish pressure that will be enough to take out these highs and see price push all the way to these levels up here. Okay. Again, remember these are swing position. You can see this is on the 4-hour time frame. So even if we check, let's say come to the 1-hour time frame, looking out for potential execution. Then even on the daily, if you come to the daily time frame, this is what we have. On the daily time frame, this is a major demand area you have. So I'm expecting to see price push to this level here. Once price gets to this level, now this zone becomes a determinant of where we're expecting price to go to. Will we see a potential shift in market structure, or will we see price keep pushing higher to the upside? Okay. So let's observe and see how price reacts. Let's observe and see how price reacts to that. Then Mm, that is on USDCHF. Then let's have a look at USDCAD. USDCAD. Then you can have a look, a quick glimpse of the indices. So this is USDCAD. So price, we've seen price react from this area here. Now, the area of interest has been from this supply to this demand, from this demand back to that supply. So that has been the major areas of interest that you've been working with. So now we saw price, we saw price break below this as a previous demand. This is a previous, let me have that. Mhm. So this is a previous demand, retested, broken as supply. Then comes again, it was a previous supply, broken, retested as a demand. And now we saw price has been consolidating within this area. Now, as long as price is above this level here, we are in bullish territory. So expecting that this is a continuation setup. So this being a continuation setup, this is more of a rally-based rally. And I'm looking at price coming all the way back to these levels of 1.37 or 1.38 thousand areas. So I'm expecting a scenario like this. Price pushes all the way to the levels of 1.37 and 30 areas or even 1.38 thousand levels. So basically this high that we have here. Okay. So let's observe and see how price reacts to this. That is on USDCAD. Let's have a quick look at gold. Let's have a quick look at gold and see what we have. Mhm. There is gold. So we have been very bullish on gold. Price at a very key area of interest. Within these highs here, within these highs we have structure here. However, looking at it from a bigger picture perspective, I'm looking at price coming to the levels of 1.34, 30 areas. Considering we have this area, this level here, this supply. We have this supply here. No, this is not messing. This is messing up. So you have this supply area here. So looking at it from a bigger picture, I'm expected to see price push to the upside into the levels of 34.30. Levels of 34.30. That is where I'm expecting to see price get to on a long term perspective. Then we can have a look at Nasdaq and US 30. So we have this is Nasdaq, because I also trade Nasdaq and US 30. So you can see Nasdaq formed new highs. The Nasdaq formed new highs. So the highs of 22,874, which is these levels here. Then we've been really consolidating within this area. So what I would look out for, especially now that we don't have a candle close below this, is a potential push to the upside. Unless you see price push slightly lower back to these structures of 22,400, where this minor demand is at, that is when now I will expect probably a potential retracement back to this area. But so far, still, considering we don't have any candle close below this level to signify that you might actually see a push to the downside. Waiting patiently to see how price reacts to this. Um, Considering we've closed the week at about 22,779, close to all-time highs. So let's observe and see how price reacts. Let's observe and see how price reacts to this. Okay. So I'm closely observing to see how price reacts to this. Then lastly, we have a look at US 30. Lastly, let's have a look at US 30. So you can see there is US 30. Now this is on the 4 hour. Let's start this analysis on the daily, because this area here, we have this area here, then you can see this area here. This level is a very key area of interest based off the daily time frame, because if you check out the daily time frame, we have this. This was the area where we had the all-time high levels at about 45,000. So when price got to this area here, I remember when you were bullish from when price was around here, and also these areas between these, I mean between these levels here. So a very strong push to the upside, and price has filled that range. Now price is coming back to now that price filled that range. We saw a strong reaction. We saw a strong reaction when price tapped this area here. A push to the downside, then price came, retested this area here. Then we saw a push to the downside. I'm expecting to see price take out this low. Then push to the downside all the way to the levels of 43,960 areas. So price closed the trading week at about 44,340. So I'm expected to see a potential push to the downside, where price feels at least the range. The range that you're working with here is the range from this level, this demand, uh, this supply, and back to this demand. So once you see a push to the downside back to the 43,960 areas, then now you can either look out for potential buys once price is within this area. But so far we are quite bearish. Expected to see price push to these levels down here. Okay. So those are the pairs that I'm closely observing from the start of the week. I'm looking forward to see how they play out. Looking forward to see how they play out. So I'll be hosting this Sunday evening analysis every week, every Sunday. I'll be sharing my insights and analysis on the various setups that I'm looking out for. I usually update that on my Discord, where I share now my analysis here. So you can see I have quite a number. I have very many trades, actually trades from 2021 on this Discord. So about like 4 years worth of analysis and setups within this Discord. Then I have the public blog now, where I usually share setups as well and insights and analysis. But now this is for the public, the Discord is private. Okay. So with that, guys, I wish you a great evening and an amazing start of the week as we get started into the week from tomorrow. So let's have a very productive week. Looking forward to a very productive week ahead, and see you on the next one.